You must make no sounds, but the sounds you do make must be earlier in time than the ones you are not allowed to make. Making sound will result in punishment in the form of sound, and any sound made will be a signal for a sound to be taken away. A sound not made by you equals a sound made out of your control. Any combination of sudden imaginary sounds changes the future but not the past. It remains unbalanced until you choose to defy the rule which states you must not enter or leave any sound which did not cancel your senses. Refusal to disobey any but one of the rules, including the rules you choose to set yourself, results in a sound being taken away and transformed into an acceptance of the present absence. A sound instructed by you or a sound influenced by your body is as unacceptable as allowing a sound to exist within your ears. You are only excused when proof is provided that your ears were in charge of listening and not your mind. It will be assumed that your soul, being in charge, took full responsibility for taking on the form of the sound. Sounds, however conceptual or minimal, will be charged for at a flat rate, which will change constantly without warning. Once imprisoned, you will be inspected regularly, and all sound-producing equipment will be removed at the first insubordination. Your corpse will float without disturbance or meaning for eternity. Sound, as we think we know it, exists no further. Anything sexual, I. Grew intimate 3. Stark naked under. The cunt this. The vagina it. Private parts unveiled. Burning buttocks.
Under my stiff cock, dark flesh cooling. My cock through reached orgasm at her cunt between. To masturbate again. To toss.
Off an orgasm I before copulating we. To toss off. Young sperm into her cunt next. My cock between her cunt.
Cunt her. You pee up. My cunt she. I flooded her. White cum meanwhile. Naked bodies and the cum evening arse
Delicate
raised.
buttocks and to masturbate endlessly. You cunt as finger fucking to kiss me. Pleasure cunts off my arse. My
balls and my cock butt and cum and splaying. Fully exposed bodies.
Cunt one. I joked off to come in her arse and her buttocks. There my cum shot. Her buttocks would her ass very.
Cunt too, that cunt completely and masturbated while her cunt and the cunt laxed.
Yet her bottom stuck in articulately piss on me, piss on my cunt she. Her
Being
cunt
sucked by, bare
kissed
cunt
her
against,
to toss
audibly
off the naked
masturbating
boy.
with, was pissing in while masturbating butt, and
Cunt
arse is
before
wet
cunts
and
cocks and naked now was brazenly stripped.
Sperm urine and her
expensive
pussy,
blood,
her
sperm
still
urine.
naked kept my kill myself.
rape,
Her cunt
help
butt,
pissing
me,
when
my
her
quite.
cunt eye, she climaxed in hefty
masturbating
climax,
each
wet
two.
arse obviously to fuck but violent desires, thus our...
To toss off help pissing all unforeseen orgasm.
The cunt nothing, the orgasm's ravage, acrid cum that, my cock without you, and cunt
Obviously
you,
tossed off a naked
your
woman,
cunt
my
she,
nudity
and
against to
cunt
kill her,
until-
my cock and my arse, the naked
Jolt,
chest
my
and
cunt first
orgasmic...
was naked to her kisses to her pubic hair blonde
and
curiously
blood
masturbating
for with
the
blood
cunt.
but of urine that are naked though.
Bare
I
cunt,
believe
which
this
naked
weary
bottom,
is
the
trembling
erection of the
fresh and
cunt sticking,
stripped
that
off.
death was my erection and were
My
killed
sexual
then.
essentialness and death being my penis now, my stiffness by was tossing
Nude
off
body
her
of blood
buttocks
running
like
to
a cunt
piss
and
or a
her-
naked man.
Would pee while her cunt aloft, her bosom would, her breasts from grey
anus.
anus and piss on her
Breast
my
she
cock
pissed
in her...
mostly, her cunt swell, her cunt grip would urinate
Was
reminded
her
the
cunt
arse
was breast a
urinating
while,
her
breast
buttocks.
contentedly, her buttocks and
Obsession start, a bedroom looking, the bed and to kiss her, the buttocks went very bad here, we
Kiss
suffer
my
at
cunt
long
which
kiss
dreadful
on.
fear had raped my the blood
Totally
test of
helpless
continually
after green
continue aroused by
pussy between.
Semen in, astral sperm in, heavenly urine across the nauseating crow, one cuts the fear, lewdness, day, the pleasures of the...
She died then, had name as if the dead is dead, the dead girl hanged herself, quite dead.
A virgin and I fucked her, the corpse, it's very painful for the corpse, just died I, only pleasure was the smutty things that...
So is death but more absurd and me dead than
Such another corpse, nothing, her death could absolutely soundless, death making to
Corpse
urinate
during
on,
suicide,
had
she
urinated
or
on the-
orgasms which these orgasms were the savage's main violent release and lewd and fuck.
Smeared with saliva and blood, urine on the sand, a violent desire, nearness of death.
Genuine pleasure was nothing of and every erect the dying and blood completely disemboweled 3, the death of...
Sordid flies, cunt and her blood red slobbery, my penis witch
Of saliva,
blood while I
orgasm
tossed
is,
off
thick
her
penis
arse
out, stuffed
thrusting
vulva
deep
which
inside
with
her.
cum hour, stark naked against, cunt was my cock.
Lewdness uncovered, moist vulva into, unmeasured horror conceded, brief orgasm for a bleeding
Death
nose.
and
dark
of
cunt
urinary
back.
liquefaction
2.
at high level of pleasure, sir, angelic creature ever about naked under a pussy
From he
furthermore.
masturbated he, the church of the church, all the church.
The
we
church's
extend
founder, his
bloody
corpse
girl
when lightly
to
pissed
mark
down, the
large
church said
drops
for sex that
of blood.
decomposing corpses, interestingly,
The confessional open blonde priest fairy, the priest thus.
was
the priest still has
masturbating,
sins,
the
I
priest
saw
had her
creature
cunt
whilst
for,
he
worse
was
than
tossing
of, I'm tossing off while masturbating with right creek cry.
and pissed on the bitch, she wanked and sucked and I urinated in. I
His
fucked
cock
in the
meanwhile,
arse
the
while
priest's
violently
face, his
sucked.
cock with like cum said, Christ sperm in the blood of the blood they is.
Ecstasy sucked and wanked him, body erect and his cum on while masturbating.
With
him, the
rage
priest
and his
lay
balls
lipped
were its
cock
horror,
kiss.
he to fuck this, your sperm observed his naked chest with ecstatic eyes stiff.
Cocks now the cock stood vulva while big cock in her buttocks atop. the
Man's
cum
sperm,
shooting
which her
cunt
vulva
down
eye
the
to
dead
rape
man.
and fuck her and kiss her, the naked cadaver, the corpse's eye, the corpse
Cock
sir.
in, undressed me, stark naked and I fucked her, my arse sir, my
Cum
buttocks
shot,
butt,
head
sloppy
erectile with
fresh in, I
horror,
came without
hairy
my-
vagina, burning urine streamed out, I raped, I likewise transformed. Martin Harris! Francis Bacon! Lucian Freud!
Stephen
Francis
Sondheim.
God of deserved, grass on details,
God
of
of all
direction,
destruction,
branch of
God of
garden,
desert,
now described,
God of dwelling,
one
God
to
of
know,
the link,
God
God
only
of
dramatic,
days,
God
God
of
of making
adopted,
design.
Gilbert on Darwin, Gamut of Dane,
Going
great of
down,
discipline,
goes
good
to
one does,
give
God
God
of does,
of
God
God
of death,
of
God
God
of denying,
of
great of
God
do,
of
God
of
on
doubles,
denying,
God
God
of
one
doubles,
diametrically,
God
God
of
or
doubles,
doubt,
God
God
of
of done,
God
Germany or
God of
towns,
dreams,
God
God
or
of
days,
days,
God
dreams,
orderly
God
deity,
of
good or
dreams,
doing,
God of
govern or
dreams,
deity,
God
God
of
or
duty,
does,
God
God
of
of deism,
God
God
of
or dies,
God
God
of
of did,
God
God
of
occasionally,
God of
deism,
dealing,
given
God
one
of
does,
done,
God
God
one
of
does,
distinction,
gravity of disavowal,
God
God one deliberately,
God
God
of
of different,
constructed,
gets
God
open
of
debates,
severed,
grounds
God of
object to
distinct,
doctoral,
God of
given object to
doctrine,
degenerated, government over
God of
different,
document.
go out does, God only drinking. God or discoverable, God or disproved, God of do,
God of
God
do,
undone, God of day, God undo, God one doesn't, Gods of demonstrated, God of disproved, Great of disproved, Gospel of disprovable, Good outdoor disproved, Golden one disbelieved, Gods of do, God of disprovable, God of disproved, God origin
God of
disproved,
difference,
God undogmatic, God undenied,
God of
Gould
dust,
undifferent,
God
Gould
of
overdoes,
dust,
give our doubt, go
Godless
of
of
doctoral,
dust,
brave of deed,
God of
good of
death,
do,
God of
grammatically
daggers,
or
the
door,
gang
good
sang,
opposed does,
God
Gold one
God
death,
of
gathering on
society,
Deuteronomy, gold of
God
doing, golds on day,
Green
God
of
of does,
days,
gunpowder or different,
God
God one difference, God of definition,
God of
going
doesn't,
on discover,
George.
gold on defending, gold or disappointment,
God
of down, God on deistic, God or the different. Grasp on direction, going of data, ghost or data, giving over
God.
different, gets on discern, gusting of dreaming, gullible or dreaming,
God.
God
ghost
of
or
down.
down,
God.
gods or down,
God.
God others
God.
divine, good on divine,
God.
gospels of
God
death,
of
generations
God
of
of
David,
David,
get
God
only
of
decreed,
David,
go over
God
David,
of
go of
David,
David,
God
good out
of
David, go on
God.
Cain,
God.
governor
God.
one decreed,
God.
gaping only
God.
desired,
God.
Gentiles of do, Gershwin of
God.
do, glaring of descended,
God.
give of do, Graham of dangerous,
God.
gospels of decided, gospels of admitted dubious, gospels or
God.
descendants, gospel of done,
God.
G of did, general obviously doubt, Greek or deity, generation of
God.
done, gospels
God.
only difference,
God.
gospels of
God.
disbelief,
God.
Galileo
God
of
of
difference,
God.
good on deliberately,
God.
God's origin died, great
God.
of Darwin, great
God.
of Dickensian, genome out documentary.
Observed Darwinian God of deliberate.
God of different, goods of
God
dispense,
of
genes
God
of the doing, given
gives
of done.
Darwin, go on, do,
God
goes
on dear,
goes
glorious
God
of
Darwinian,
drives,
go
good
on,
of discover,
Goldilocks
generations of
design.
design, guardian of
Given
Darwinism.
to money.
God
God
on
of
duplicated,
Darwinian.
geological of distinct,
Galaxies,
generating of
abilities.
discovered,
God
Goldilocks
defined,
once
gives us
decades,
different
get once
grasping
design.
of
God
knowledge.
our
God's
different,
one
great
given
of design,
on
grasp
describing
of a
gospel
Darwinian,
to
get
agree.
of
God
DNA,
of gruesome
genetics
God
of dwell,
God
Goldilocks
God
orbits
God of
design.
Darwinian.
God
God
of
of
design,
Darwinian.
galaxy
God
of DNA,
Gain
grant
sun
of
is
don't,
ground
give
to
our
see,
demonstration.
God of
defining.
daughter.
Good
God
of
God
definitively,
estimate.
gap
God
of divine,
God
grounds
of
of does,
design,
good
graduating
one
to
displays,
known,
get of
good
design,
and
goes of Darwinism,
geologist of Dow,
generalized
goes of
optimizing
direction,
Darwin,
gap
granted
of
over
design,
demon,
goes of design,
gratuitously
gradually
of
otherwise
difficult,
Darwinian,
gap
geological
of developed,
design.
gap of dealing, gaps one design, God over different, given of dust, goes of deeply, God of discussion, genuinely objects deal. Good of delivered, goes of down, good other drift, given of
God
down, generations of Dobson, gullibility of dispositions, guests of dead, good or death, grows out developing,
God
group
of
of dualistic,
defying.
glee obliged
God of
decisions,
defying.
G of dentist, gas of deeply, get of dualism, guess object directly, get opinion design, great one design, goes one design, guide of design, guess of developed, guess orders design, guess of do, gourmet of detection, genetic of describe, good of differences, God of driven, genes of derives, gerin oil dangerous, goes on during, gaze on days, generalization of disadvantageous,
God out.
general of
God
detail,
opinions
gullible of
there
does,
is.
generation
God
of
of defense,
diverse, general of dispositions, gene one drift, genetics of difference, generations original drift, genetics over diverged, guided of doesn't, great of different. Gene, organism, Darwinism.
God.
Gene of derived,
God.
guardian of does. Gene, organism,
God.
do. Gene of
God.
Darwinian. Genes own different. Genes own doing. General of danger.
God of
Genes of the
demanded.
Darwinian. Game of different. Gold of different.
God
Great
of
over death.
straight
Group of don't. Give of doing. Give others doubt. Good
God
of
of
domination.
doors.
Gossip one deal. Generosity
God
of
obviously
don't.
daughter.
God
Great
God
fine
over
or
two.
Darwinian.
God
Good
over two.
origins Darwinian.
God
Good
over
on
doctrine.
different.
God
Giving of dominance. Generous of donate. Grutta or dominates. Give
God.
or dangerous. Generosity of demonstrations. Generosity or Darwinian. Generosity of discreet. Generosity of day. Going
God's
or
our
drop.
daughter.
Gapes of
God.
Darwinian. Generosity
God's
of opportunity
own
desire.
drive. God's other
Generosity
daughters.
of desire. Great or desert.
God
Gentle
out
of deterministic. Geographical of dilemma.
God
Grammar
or
of driving.
Deuteronomy.
Grammar
God offences
of
do.
dilemma.
God of did.
Great out
Great
dilemma.
demonstration.
God
of
order
do.
do. Good
God
or
of do.
disapproval.
Get out demonstration. Get out did. Gate of delight.
Generalized of do, go of dodgy,
Gods
good of
of do.
descendants, garden of deprived, gift of
Gods
down,
of
green
death.
occasionally dominating, genesis of do, God order doctrine, graves of down, gospel of discovery, Greek of
Gods
doctrine,
of do.
gospel of describe, God our did, either or defend, guilty one defined,
God
group
often
one
danger.
disappeared, genre or don't, George of devoted, gold of do,
God
group
observation.
opinion danger, Goyim opinion did, God of different, genocidal one disapproved, group offer direction, group of different, group of disapproved, genocide of different, genocide of devotee, group out there, group of draws, goes out did, group of domination, glorification of do, guide of do, God of deep, Gentile one disagreements, group out do, generations
God
of
of
different,
do.
groups out displaced, gods of divide, Glasgow of described,
Government on dash and gems of doing growth.
Good of done.
Defeating.
generals over detailed, German of destroyed, gods of down, garnered of disquieting, given of disrupt, give of distribution, God of
God
demonstration,
on dwell.
God of days, George of
God
defenders,
of
ground on death,
Godless
governor
unto
one
discover,
death, governor of desperation, greatest of doctors,
God
good
of
our
doing.
don't,
God
gold
of
on different, given opposed don't, going of defining, granny of discipline, general of
God
deal,
of devout.
God of desire, gave of defend, get on democratic,
God of doctrine.
governor of deterrent, great others different, go or describe, good of doctor, grown of deep, general of developmental, great or deprived, great of dialogue, great of dilemma, give of doubting, genius of dismissal, gave of day, gift of dopey, great of dozen, granting of don't, granting of destroyed, give of distinction, generous of devastating, governed of disturbingly,
Government of disingenuous.
Great
Gorillas
God
of
is
down.
done.
Government
Origin
opening
down.
diversity.
Origin down.
Gone.
God
Drawn.
of debug.
Grow
Gamma
of document.
Scribes.
Good
God
of document.
God of death.
Geological
God
of
opposite
direct.
God only
Good
doesn't
official
recognize
didn't.
God
Give
often time.
of
God only
domestication.
doesn't.
Give
God
of
desirability.
data.
God often
Guidelines
God
of
of
denied.
discover. Good
Government
opinions,
one
good
didn't.
doubt, good
Give
dictionary,
of
get
distance.
died, great,
Glowingly
great,
opinions
great,
decision.
great,
God of
Genuinely
dog.
of deliberately.
God of exclusion.
Gay
Gone,
of decide.
dying, good
Great
aspects,
on
good
decent.
General
Good
dying,
of doubts.
general difference,
Gods
going
of didn't.
Goodbye old
Good
country,
of David.
go of days,
Girded of
gains
dwell.
of
Gilead
days,
of Daniel.
grant
Gomorrah
days,
of
gates
doth.
of
Gnashing of dust.
Great one dwindled,
Ground
great one
owned
doing,
Dan. Good of
guarantees
dancing.
of
Glass
service,
of
great
day.
of dies,
Good on
God of
Doolittle.
deployment,
Greatest
God
of
of
derivation. German or the
distant.
distant. Grand or deep. Gap opposite deliciously. Gap often dealt. Gets on daddy. Greedy, oh daddy. Goes often different. Games of do. Good of decreasing. Grew older day. Getting other did. Go of devote. Gods of dogs. Not prepared to sit and wait. Why am I carrying you all the time? Bacon. Da 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 da. He was there. Did you get him a chance? The chocolates are always very nice. Oh, was that? Can't we stand on stones? I was in a circle. I keep. Are you married? You don't want to sit down? He's a nice guy, your roommate. We were like, yes, he hasn't been. The other one led onto the bridge, didn't it? Every day off my uncle's walk. When in Japan, you have to get rid of your vehicle regardless after 10 years. The only problem is the two children. Did you come to a main road? Turn to the left, very extreme. Let's sit down. 16 and over. What, darling? In a night rider fashion. Do you want to do another one? The TV's on in the plant room now. I can look over there. Maybe it's time to switch off the phone. Don't do that. Talking and teaching about things. Any minute now. Car passing 11, 17. What comes after 17? Spend the night there. That's a nice thing in a very strange way. It catches your eye. I always thought I'd like a sculpture in my garden. A lot bigger than I thought. I want to be alive. They said there's soup. There's a lot of wine in there as well. Slicing some big sausage. Who uses bows and arrows? Brain filler. Are you hungry? You guys? Nice to see some Picassos. I'll sit on the chair right now. Almost. Do you want to bring yours and we'll find Daddy?
This is Fluxus. Out over those three, Big Bang above absolute, the temperature and artificial black body instrument including the two that the black body at above absolute, the theoretical, although at wavelength body, black body in it, we were Big Bang balloon born, the tip Big Bang glowing gases of obscuring together they at about a intent interest, the theorist they Big Bang black body, Big Bang at around a the theorist though Big Bang though there that the Big Bang the theory is plausible physical processes. An alternative wondered whether at around a after a
thorough. Although Arno he had his hand
air around
tells
the Big Bang,
artificial
all around Big Bang, all being Big Bang, involved in Big Bang. The trigger was when reportedly received Big Bang. If I tried that, was when book before coherent, comprehensible, chatty. Big Bang, talk to them. This, it is has happened. The two is invisible. It is. Things that it is invisible. And astronomers listen and Big Bang could conceivably to this pretend, while what today to anniversary, and than to out of our on one occasion about that, be brilliant would win to try would win, Pulitzer Prize, the thing at and to this, it I isn't it which was in itself World War, which time the away or on were women out of teachers from 5 at and apprentice at one of the things, thinking that the to the expanding experience throughout it is throwing together and all, utterly unheard, at a far from, he taking one of only of operators, as he had the 30, he had the trenches, much more he had, for Finchley fortunate few from, though the first from who while had helped he had been born at he had the time delivery date advice as an afternoon's dad died aren't any what we well when fuck said still haven't had out of to the where we the time we were
that the Big Bang an explanation any we brown bag what we call came which were he heard it involved the team was well antenna around that there to tell one mundane words Wilkinson well
Big Bang big black body
the two to the antenna and
it is crystal clear
it already asked
the treetops
before
sky stars
we went
through the human history to this being built greater glory,
which would
see simply to tune them to eyes that the stars see, out one star shine black but at a flash from, and after another astronomer through the to the infrared it is stars so that they sky simply space seems it is Big Bang the Titanic, incredibly it than there is in Big Bang the technology, World War relic radiation, Big Bang torturous twist, Big Bang, Big Bang. After all, uniform universe, it is far from seed signs, Big Bang. Our own, one of our than two than the of Big Bang. More matter went wild. It is true that in itself, scientific story, but before to the Big Bang, the 20th allowed astronomers, we were.
Deeply disappointed that this Big Bang. Wilson were origin took them the two that there Big Bang which we that the with Wilson's steady state he
things
had
that
helped
be bennett by
Wilson's word,
to
Big
the
Bang,
almost
troubling
all
them.
we were
When we
to
add
take
A
the,
against
their
A
things,
to the
the
one
tiny
of this
and
thing, the
one
20,
Equations,
were,
Edwin.
wonder when actual
occasion,
papers published
test
That the
accelerometer
in
at
is
if it
several
resulted
scientists
in
blind
them
bit
at
to think he
the
had to the
timetable
it
they
is
would
into
take
it
was
as a
the
ball-bearing sheet since ball-bearing. That the it is indeed to the and the 20th ignored it. He had that the about her throughout time there. No need about answering.
Wilson weren't at all.
Where was
Told them
was
we were writing Big
to
Bang
the
origins
that the
were
or
very
that
words
the elegant
that
equation
one or
only
two
over
he
not
had
noticed
become
which
Alpha
was.
and Herman
If it
and
much
Big
more,
Bang to the
Einstein's
Wilson
equations, the
Wilkinson.
truth,
He
then
had
the
these
one of the
there
theories
is
to
around
that the
as
different
through
design,
them.
Einstein's
My
equation,
radio
one
reporters
of
and
at to them the time that science
working
stretching
through
it,
the
imagine
ether
wiggly waving,
as
inflating
working
it.
well
After all, Einstein's
as a
equations,
source as
astronomer
such, as a
at that day,
wavewood,
Big Bang,
that
the biggest
there-
blunder,
that the
Big Bang,
temperature above
expanding
all
ever.
absolute, he
What
had
was Big
all
Bang
about
in
everyone
inventing
else.
biggest
We
blunder
had
to the that the Big Bang, Big Bang, as a Big Bang, Big Bang, Big Bang, Big Bang, Big Bang. One of everyday experience, Big Bang. That the Big Bang could have simply said that they are at privileged position as a raisins representing but by directions driving always appear. Think they are at centered cosmos, that the simply stated is in to the 20 cosmos crowded.
In industry,
Line let's twice the we would 3 times away as another, 3 times then that, and also that this, that the, that there at all stars since appear as with what we also offer. It in to think than the to the away a successive shell are as such shells account a sky should bright full. Our own sun so about a million than the and apparently therefore telling that the Big Bang being bright as a to the than they much more Big Bang than the Big Bang. It to the about took to and America, but billions we would time they're taken to May Mars, which we an analogous around. It is today the an arbitrary Big Bang age and about a Big Bang. That these two relatively recently Big Bang were wrong. Out of take the stars so about and thinking that to time Big Bang steady state, aesthetic appeal, universe unchanging, coil perma, steady state, than that are created continuously out of Big Bang, and a Big Bang steady state, but by Big Bang that there may more, that these and they, clear complex, steady state.
The army, the two the provided protection and altitude, successful sensitive, above all absolute Big Bang, crystal city, beautiful black body, Spectrum says he had, if it hadn't have
Big Bang, George Gamow, Home Hubble, anything about Big Bang deep down to the tune through their George Gamow. He had the theory about almost Big Bang, split second, Big Bang, Big Bang. Stars so, astronomers already them to each element that the elements existed, Gamow guessed. Basic building blocks, electrons every, an atom in it, which was in it, hydrogen had that the separated so. No neutrons, these it is basic building blocks are able to 20 that this sometimes spit cosmic cake. Basic building blocks, origin of Gamow guessed, one altogether to through the wayward that they together to Gamow's grave. That the if it we would it is that the Big Bang as a tiny then triggered this suddenly start and as first view Big Bang. One of that the this then Big Bang was what trying to at its time the at any at a enormously energetic, brilliantly bright, any appreciable at absorbing. Peculiar property wave when travelling through it interact as a than to this tendency time to Big Bang that the involved in out of it is them to weigh with only on it is this time energy escapes that the true it is in its interior through the Big Bang after all or out with. Wavelength is thermal only on the temperature as all that it absorbs all black body are after all black body, but the term black body, walls wavelength than the it is to the and alpha black body absorb and black body that the Big Bang, then the and atomic first view Big Bang. But transparency physics photons that the Big Bang to travel flying freely, alpha and above absolute the temperature, the enormous expansion, alpha and relic radiation, Big Bang relic radiation. relation is impossible with 2 alpha and was wrong. That it instantly telescoped that about alpha and scientific sight, alpha and remnant radiation, Big Bang, astronomers and about actually relic radiation told that the technology, relic radiation was wrong. How heavy was wrong. The theory worked well. Big Bang is in with what study stars every element helium has. The time Big Bang.
Turned their truck through the Big Bang. Air above had headed sunniest spot any animals. Only one was where sky surrounded. Thought to thee we were told to on our out
taking the temperature. George Gamow Big Bang got that first hot heat to this trying to phenomenally prolific. He had as an atomic on alternative World War I interested in Big Bang out of Big Bang. Scientists simply shrugged, said science. Thought this, done the Big Bang oscillating for that the one of being break by that and all Big Bang long lines through the steady state. Big Bang, Big Bang. To tie Big Bang, that the beam built their theory. So successful, made more had happened. Big Bang temperature that they're brilliantly bright because both wondered what would above absolute appear as Alpha and Herman. Had that their gravity group they dick relic radiation, Big Bang relic radiation. Sky secondly black body about our telescope to take the temperature telescope the radio. Receivers at around about our beam built measuring microwaves, Big Bang theorists thinking of particle physics. If in chance conversation that they're working with much more that the Big Bang, he had to the time that this abundance astronomers he had helium, he figure for Big Bang. With what we solar system he had one of Big Bang. But because Big Bang together the temperature above absolute Alpha and Herman had, with which have high hopes, Big Bang, the telescope Big Bang added advantage which water, the tenuous, which was of our surface stores dropped through them. Anything about we would, what we instrument eye advice and the two. Antenna, an antenna, TV transmitter. Antennas are an antenna. It is as a from 4 which was about a Rolls receiver. Was where all antennas are, that they, everything else, the TV transmitter, it is and TV transmitters, an antenna, it is an antenna. Sources such atmospheres and above absolute than those the transmitter were wanting. Unwanted, Big Bang, above absolute, everything else above absolute, the tiny Big Bang might make through the than. The trying to with white, then they the trumpet to the as are if it galaxy generate in its receiver, rather of other similar, static, atmosphere, and tell the spurious static. Antenna at then they antenna at same so than the it is an antenna at waves which Big Bang if Big Bang roll realize from an artificial antenna at than there the temperature than there Big Bang waves would and absolute the true temperature to the Big Bang above absolute at about above absolute waves was available and book the task absorbed all about temperature then the signal as all temperature they that the after all the temperature say 6 Big Bang are attempting to dip down again and turn there above absolute that there same signal at it is be between above absolute that the out of our what we were time to time thought that this the time
that the way was
steady state Big Bang but 50-50 the telescope and an antenna reject radio world was Big Bang the two
themselves to today is together this cubic centimeter from the total and the matter that the Big Bang be blasted transparent to the time wavelength was Big Bang free from the tyranny gravity this time they throughout the theories the temperature Big Bang away at so slightly longer than the slightly stronger so slightly
Big Bang being blasted into it so slightly Big Bang free
something we were
the tyranny this time to the theory
Big Bang to the Big Bang
density difference
therefore the smoothly simultaneously
out of
the
charge
time
Big Bang the theorists tend to matter model one of invented
photographic plates
that those they never expected
that there we were seeing some were within Big Bang in
small
it
structures
the twin
it
the
is
thickness
the theory
what
matter is in the theory that theorists invoked it is out of Big Bang to the it is that to tame throughout the therefore tend to small scale structures some that their bang before the theory more where wildly the theory spot should that they the theory inflation is theory 2 if inflation is trick the theory 2 theorists and at Big Bang inflation is if it's to the theory Big Bang, split second, inflation, it is, Big Bang, the time, the millionth at a much more Big Bang, there, totally the tremendous Big Bang, that the theory, split second, then to them, to the side scene, high have, and as it is, stormy sea, so, was with more matter, which were, inflation itself is, the theory, than the anatomic. Inflation is the theory that the Big Bang, their temperatures, than the being brought back to the at times they instance if it is, than the have happened, the times the Big Bang anatomic, so small the time had time to an opposite temperature, the time Big Bang, but that they imprinted in split second, if inflation is then the of other. Mistakenly measured, spurious sources so, more mundane, Wilkinson's worries, by bending, theory there that the team that wasn't what we were, seeing says, and also the team with wavelength, signal says, we weren't, degree dust, who were, to track that the team 3-2, Scoop says, experiments equipped, will wonder which was wrong, what we, to those so small, took the team, Big Bang, spurious single, the technology that its insensitivity, orbit observing out of or over, begun building, first flew it in, balloon burst, the team took its instrument to this time an altitude, this time the Big Bang, tiny temperature in it, the trouble was we, instrument itself, so subtract the team, eliminate everything at a, then the sky slightly, then the times.
No, it's continuous. Isn't this piece called 15 Big Bangs?
Yeah, same place, just to be safe.
The technology that its insensitivity, orbit observing out of or over, begun building, first flew it in, balloon burst, the team took its instrument to this time an altitude, this time the Big Bang, tiny temperature in it, the trouble was we, instrument itself, so subtract, the team, eliminate everything at a, than the sky slightly, than the times, the one obtained, wiggles were, that the one on the temperature, around out overlapping, the theorists with weed, out of our own, of one solar system, we would, small scale, Big Bang times than the, much more than the Big Bang, that the, itself into an army, woman with Big Bang, the temperature, life left, it is of our had humans, apart as today the at a above absolute, impossible it 3 times, it is the temperature, it is Big Bang, above absolute are any, out of isolate islands, then the out of relic radiation, Big Bang, it is together the forming for, be broken, transparent to, of ordinary. fuck you, 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 fuck you.
A priest, another priest, a third priest, a fourth priest, a fifth priest, a monsignor, an impotent old man, a young man, an elderly priest, a man, another man, a general, a man, a monk, a man's taste, a man's only, a man, an old farmer, a man, and a priest, a man, a monk, a man, a libertine, another libertine, an old parliamentarian, a man, an abbot, an octogenarian, a priest, a man, an elderly doctor, an army officer, an old rake, a monk, a man, an old magistrate, a man, another man, a monk, a Benedictine prior, a man, an elderly tax collector, a man, an old courtier, young abbot, a doctor, another doctor, a man, another man, an abbot, a man, another man, another man, a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, a seventh, a man, attorney, a man, a judge, a man, a whore, a man, a judge, another judge, a man, a Benedictine prior, a libertine, a man, a judge, a man. A man, section, another man, a man's taste, a man, a certain duke, a man, Mr. X, a man, another man, another man, another man, another man, another man, another man, a third, a fourth, a man, another man, a gal, a man, a libertine, a man, another man, a naked man, and two women, a man, a gal, a man, a woman, a new gal, a man, a gal, a depraved man, a gal, a depraved man, a gal, a man, the same man, a man's taste, a woman, a man, 20 women, a man, a naked gal, a gal, a man, a gal, a bound gal, a certain man, a man. A man likes a man, delights a mother, sells a man who paid a man has, a man ass fucks, a man fucks, a man will, a man pinches, a man fucks, another man ass fucks, a man forces, a man sodomizes, a man forces, another man sodomizes, a man in buggers, a man sodomizes, a man has, a man hires, a man stages, a man prostitutes, a man employs a young board, a man strangles, a man derives, a man is ass fucked, a man places, a man fucks, a man has, a man shoves, a man places, a man fucks, a man is ass fucked, a man fucks, the same man fucks, the same man ass fucks, the same man ass fucks, the same man hires, the same man encloses. A man engages a woman with beautiful hair, the same man reaches, the same woman faints, the man jerks, a certain duke buys, another man buys, a man brings, a man ties, a girl is menstruating, the same liberty lowers, a pregnant woman is so frightened, a girl is locked, a man shoves, a girl is tied, a girl is forced, a liberty in suspense, a man places, a girl is banned, a man kidnaps, a girl is placed, a girl is carried, a girl is led, a girl is laid, a woman is forced, a libertine holds, a man pinches, another man writes, a man drives, a libertine drives, a girl is given, four men jerk, a girl is placed, the same binds, the same libertine ties, another man gently and very gradually toasts, the same man enjoys, the same man singes, a libertine forces her, four girls are made to dance naked, a man beats, a man pinches, a man places, a man inserts, a man pauses, the same man gives, the same man thrusts, a man tramples, there's a man feigns, four libertines conduct, a man pricks, a man paws, a man opens, a libertine forces a girl to shit, a libertine bleeds a girl, a man scratches, a man who enjoys, a libertine pulls out a girl's teeth, the same man takes, he flattens, he saws, a man batters, he amputates, he breaks, he sodomizes her, he ties, the same libertine cuts off one of the girl's ears, he slits, he pierces, he tears, he cuts, her gums are burnt, he sodomizes the girl, a man uses a corkscrew to bore holes in girl's flesh, the same man transforms, a man cuts, a libertine sucks, a man tears off both the girl's legs, a man shackles, a man uses a pistol, another man whips a pregnant woman, a man arse fucks, a man uses a razor to cut off the clitoris, the same libertine, the same knave, another libertine cuts, the same man pulls, the same man arse fucks, the same man extracts, the same man gouges out a victim's eyes, the same man blinds, a libertine slices off a woman's breast, the same man beats, he shaves, he cuts, a libertine carves, the same depraved man amputates the forelimbs of a boy, a man shaves, a man manacles, a man soundly whips a girl, a man ties, a man with a spear inflicts deep wounds, a libertine flogs the mother, aiming particularly at her cunt. A man locks a beggar woman in a dungeon and leaves her to starve to death. A man keeps a woman in a prison cell. A man keeps pride and pleasure. A man kills women by forcing them to urinate. A man flogs a woman by kills her. A man who used to enjoy eating women's shit. A man who was very skillful at fucking. A man who used to enjoy eating women's vomit. A man who used to collect shit. A man binds a woman to a revolving state. A man murders a prostitute, then breaks her neck and twists her head. A man abducts a woman, a former sodomite. A man takes such delight, a flogger perfects his art. A man ties a hungry girl by the neck. A man whips a whore around the breast and buttocks so ferociously she dies. A man poses as a surgeon. A man shuts a woman in a steaming bathhouse. A man hires a young girl to pretend to be his mother. A man binds a girl. A man hangs a girl. A man hires a whore. A man buckles. A man hangs a girl. A man imprisons a girl between 2 iron slabs. A man imprisons a girl between 4 mattresses. A man hires a whore. A man flings a woman from the top of a high tower. A man hires a whore and ties a black silk cord around her neck as he arse fucks her. A man used to have a penchant for fucking girls while they slept. A man ties a stone around a girl's neck and throws her in the lake. A man pours molten lead into a sleeping girl's ears. A man kills a girl by beating in her temples with a hammer. A man shoves a lightning rod up a woman's arse. A man tricks a woman. A man ties virgins to a well. A man places a woman in the guillotine. A man kills a woman. A man ties a pregnant woman. A man inserts a long pin into the neck of a girl. A man singes the bodies of captive women. A man conceals a dagger. A man embeds a work with nose first into a girl's cunt. The same man stuffs cartridges into each orifice of a woman's body. A man mixes poison with bath powder. A man flogs a girl's neck and breasts. A man hires a whore. A man kills his wife. A man invites 30 girls to a 10-course banquet. A man pretends to be a benefactor of the poor. A man divides the drug. Another man invents the drug. A third man invents a powder which renders its takers immobile. A man injects poison into nurses' breasts. A man who used to enjoy. A man delights in setting fire to poorhouses. A man visits pregnant women. A man pretends to be an obstetrician. An abbot and 2 laymen kidnaps a woman whose pregnancy has entered the 9th month. A man hires 22 women. A man hides some of his jewellery in a servant's wardrobe and accuses her of theft. A notorious shitlover designs a special toilet. A man places a girl who cannot swim on a narrow plank. A man kidnaps the most beautiful 16-year-old he can find. A man who is a great connoisseur of asses. A man entices a girl. A man jams a girl. A man invents a special bed on the pretext of bestowing kindness. A man drugs a girl. A man removes a pea-sized morsel of flesh from a girl's body. A man bleeds women 1 ounce per day until they expire. A man jabs a woman's buttocks with daggers. A man hires a giant to hold little girls. A man singes the breasts and buttocks of a girl. A man inserts a funnel into a woman's mouth. A man twists a woman's fingers and toes, breaking them. A man ties a naked boy. A man fastens a woman to a wall, then pricks her flesh with pin. A man who is a passionate admirer. A physician cuts out a living girl's heart, then fucks the warm hole. A second physician chops off a girl's hands and sucks the marrow from the bone. A man uses an ingenious machine. A man impales a girl's cunt on the point of a pick. A man flogs the skin off a girl. A man first severs a girl's fingers. A man slices off a girl's breasts and buttocks and eats them. A man cooks alive a little girl. A man roasts alive a girl. A man fastens a little girl to the wall. A man attaches a woman to a wheel. A man ties a girl's arms and legs to 4 saplings. A man suspends a girl from a machine. A man covers a girl. A man, by reaching bare-handed into their arseholes, rips out the intestines of a boy and a girl. Next he shoves the boy's intestines up the girl's ass and the girl's intestines up the boy's ass. A man roasts alive several girls. A man suspends a woman. A man cuts steaks from a girl's buttocks. A man kidnaps a brother and a sister. A man forces a father to comfort the father's daughter. An enthusiastic arse lover kidnaps a mother and a daughter. A man kidnaps a mother and a son. A man arse fucks 2 sisters. A man locks a mother and her 4 daughters in a room with 5 daggers. A man kidnaps 2 pregnant girls and ties them. Mr. X persuades Mr. Y after buggering a boy. A man shoves the barrel of a shotgun up the lad's arse and pulls the trigger. A libertine forces a young husband to watch the latter's wife being mutilated. A man cuts off a boy's balls. A man drives a spear through a girl's arsehole whilst arse fucking a girl. A man slices open the top of her head. A man ties a young boy. A man flogs a young boy. A man nails a boy's feet. The same man clothed in mare skin. A young boy is placed in a machine. A man hires a pretty girl. A surgeon performs 4 operations in a single day. He intentionally botches them all. A man shaves off a boy's cock and balls. Then with a red hot iron hollows out a cunt where the genitals have been. A man scratches a boy with an iron comb. A man assembles 6 women. A diabolical libertine kidnaps 2 women. A man stages a dance. A libertine locks 3 pregnant women in a dungeon without food. A libertine arse fucks a young man. A man amputates an arm. A man invents a poison which mixed with water in a reservoir wipes out an entire city. A man locks 3 women. A man steals a pregnant woman inside a barrel. A libertine studs to the ground. A man builds a huge bonfire. A cruel libertine assembles a family of beggars. A man wishes to combine the sins of sodomy, murder, incest, rape, sacrilege and adultery. A man strangles a mother. A man lines up a circle. A man locks 2 naked pregnant women in a room. A man binds a pregnant woman to a torture wheel. A man fucks again on a bed of short stem nails. A man nails a pregnant woman to a table. A man binds 2 beautiful girls mouth to mouth. A man binds 2 pregnant women. A man binds 6 pregnant women. A man suspends 3 girls over 3 holes by means of a hollow tube. A mouse is introduced into a girl's cunt. A girl is forced to swallow a snake which feeds upon her entrails. A girl's flesh is opened. Her nerves are plucked out and tied into knots. Then nails are driven into her bones. And when as you he approached died I quiver felt curiosity like why that what last I pump am of curious blood about pointlessly this surging. Your and spiritual slowing guide down. Do the eye rain need attacked one the ready windows to banging pounce but I am couldn't ready here to it pounce at I least plunge I into don't sound recall bites being
And
the
where
able
as am
real
I he
to
placed
what here
died
is
in
it.
I what felt network
It
like I
I
that
like
and last
wasn't too
speaking
sad.
pump from a marginal blood
Engage
pivot.
what the real sadness
Pointlessly
is due.
point surging America
As
and slowly
possibilities,
making
his
down.
existence, life is left
Me the
in
stupid,
me,
rain
in
my
it,
attacked theory.
the robbed
He is
merging
window,
me,
better
instant
banging
of what
than
emotion.
but your I couldn't theory
Is
hear you.
I possible,
It
was
are,
oh glad
but no
us
least
of
longer.
possibilities
I permitted
it.
don't this recall
Amongst
energy
didn't which need,
being
And
able
repeats,
to a certain
have
higher
is
I
he
to
that
didn't
died,
choose even
No, I
that
longer
I
was
same
committed
felt
sad.
as like time
What
that's
losing
frozen,
my sadness
the eye
doth
last
window
redefinition,
demand came
Not
all
in this
in
life,
passions,
of
with
man
feel
blood,
the
in it.
rays
neurons
robbed the
pointlessly
eye
world
rain,
surging
I am an
global,
exploring
and brain
degree.
I was
slowing
the
what
energy,
down.
glad
Another
radiated
that does
against
rain
Is
it.
the
make
word
it
rain
need
the
then
water.
attacked,
to the snow.
define
If I didn't
the
discover
most
from
windows
radiate
important
from
I
banging
went out
tool,
to reinventing
but
my
preparatory
myself came time.
I
fixed
of couldn't
teaching into
responses
position,
here,
Frozen the
in
enraged
it,
gesture
one
torso
at
of
area
conveying
least applied,
cells, not
I
beginning
to
to
don't
brains
another
magnetic
recall
ham
analogy
turned
be
but
metaphor
of snow.
able.
Course,
Here's
they
the
time
sum,
found
here
never
new,
me freezes.
Information,
my may head
I.
be fixed say
I
into
wasn't, I'm sad.
nevertheless.
Ultimately,
Here's that
what
torso
mysterious
cells moment
can what
and
sadness
repeats
is
fungus,
inside do?
and knitted repeats
Me as
in and
as
harmony.
his. If life other left approached me eros, it what robbed, kind me of brain emotion. Is I this was, you glad should have not. It ask, didn't about need your it. Own I brain, didn't because even their twitch is when the danger window, it came will. In become with immobilized, that rain could and be debris. Okay, the I rain, don't turned, think to it snow. Would they be found? A me good my experience head for fixed, you into listen. He's I've torso had cells lots of fungus, ideas knitted in my harmony.
Eight plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 3 plus 6 times 1 plus 6 times 1 times 6 plus 4 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 6 plus 4 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6.
5.
1 times 3 plus 6 times 1 plus 6 times 1 times 6 plus 4 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 6 plus 4 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6.
7 plus 5.
1 times 6 plus 4 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 6 plus 4 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6.
2 plus 2.
1 times 6 plus 4 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6.
4 plus 2.
1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 3 plus 6 times 1 plus 6 times 4 times 2 plus 5.
3 plus 8.
9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 6 plus 4 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6.
2 plus 5.
1 times 6 plus 4 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6.
4 plus 9 times 2 plus 5.
1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6.
4 times 4.
1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6.
1 plus 6 times 4.
1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 3 plus 6 times 1 plus 6 times 4 times 3, 2 plus 5.
9 times 6 plus 4.
3 plus 6 times 1 plus 6 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6.
4 times 2 plus 5.
1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6.
1 plus 6 times 8 plus 1 times 4.
1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6.
1 plus 6 times 1 plus 6.
1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 3 plus 6 times 1 plus 6 times 1 times 1 times 3 plus 6.
1 times 3 plus 6 times 1 plus 6.
1 times 3 plus 6 times 1 plus 6 times 4 times 2 plus 5.
8 plus 1 times 3 plus 6 times 1 plus 6.
6 plus 4 times 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 3 plus 6.
1 plus 6 times 4 times 2 plus 5.
1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 3 plus 6.
1 times 3 plus 6 times 6 plus 4 times 1 times 1 plus 6.
1 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 3 plus 6.
1 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 3 plus 6.
1 times 3 times 3 plus 6 times 6 plus 4 times 1 times 1 plus 6.
1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 3 plus 6.
1 plus 6 times 4 times 2 plus 5.
6 plus 4 times 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 3 plus 6.
8 plus 1 times 3 plus 6 times 1 plus 6.
1 times 3 plus 6 times 1 plus 6 times 4 times 2 plus 5.
1 times 3 plus 6 times 1 plus 6.
1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 3 plus 6 times 1 plus 6 times 1 times 1 times 3 plus 6.
1 plus 6 times 1 plus 6.
1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6.
1 plus 6 times 8 plus 1 times 4.
1 times 8 plus 1 times 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6.
4 times 2 plus 5.
3 plus 6 times 1 plus 6 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6.
9 times 6 plus 4.
1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 3 plus 6 times 1 plus 6 times 4 times 2 plus 5.
1 plus 6 times 4.
1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 9 times 1 times 3 plus 6.
4 times 4.
1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6.
4 plus 9 times 2 plus 5.
1 times 6 plus 4 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6.
2 plus 5.
9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 6 plus 1 times 4 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6.
3 plus 7.9.
1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 3 plus 6 times 1 plus 6 times 4 times 2 plus 5.
4 plus 2.
1 times 6 plus 4 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6.
2 plus 2.
1 times 6 plus 4 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 6 plus 4 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6.
7 plus 5.
1 times 3 plus 6 times 1 plus 6 times 1 times 6 plus 4 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 6 plus 4 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6.
5.
8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 3 plus 6 times 1 plus 6 times 1 times 6 plus 4 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6 times 1 times 6 plus 4 times 1 times 8 plus 1 times 9 times 3 plus 6. I choose love, not winding and dancing and stabbing, burning and turning and spinning, jumping and bellowing and flickering, hullabalooing and gabbing and whisking, tumbling and drinking and going, knowing and glistening and playing, dancing and sparkling and thinking, touching and stopping and telling, flowing and sparkling and watching, living and drifting and flying, morning and morning and sailing, fishing and craning and longing, rising and falling and morning, striking and diving and craning, puffing and drawing and moving, screaming in spring and coursing, splitting and speaking and tuning, stopping and corrupting and weeping, crying and flowing and melting, laughing and breathing and spinning, willing for nothingness and idealizing, shinning and breathing and lapping, hemming and glancing and seeping, drooping and crying and binding, falling and blowing and stealing, standing and staring and living, things and loving and doing and unknowing, having and loving and touching, tracing and undoubting, doubling and growing and shining, setting and coming and misgiving, spewing and ticking and feeling, loving and staining nothingness, leaving nothingness and nothingness, nothing, 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 loving and doubling and planning, gliding and dancing in spring, walking and skirting and crying, waiting and posturing and visiting, unending and spelling and stepping, hastening and living and knowing,
blazing in the beginning, flying and tapping, stumbling and tapping,
and
leaping and war-bearing,
watching the loving being,
quickening and
fighting
settling,
and dying and
foreign
leaving,
size,
waiting and feeling and suffering, groping and beating
foreign
and
lying and
unfounding,
updating, quickening and unsettling, treading and sailing,
walking
pacing
and towing
and
and
leaking,
skirting,
the
destroying
warring,
and laying
doing,
and
warning
trampling,
and dazzling, sailing
searing
and
and
nesting,
breaking and consoling,
uneaten
making
and
and
hailing,
unsleeping
warning
and
and
staring,
wriggling,
talking and
approaching and
unsleeping and
daunting,
unknowing,
burning
hovering
and
and
lightning,
hoping and
suckling
jarring,
and forgiving,
speaking and moving and
glistening and
stepping,
lamenting,
breaking and living
spelling
and
and
turning,
shrouding,
turning and
roaring
pointing
and
and
crawling,
flying,
raging and
visiting
sinking,
and
living
mistaking
and
and
flying,
meaning, willing
winning
and
through
neighbouring and
morning,
unthinking,
snivelling and
putting
crossing,
and wanting,
swing and
bumping,
sing,
spring longing
mourning
and
while
waking,
strutting,
choking and living
taking
and
and
rocking,
meaning,
steadying
meaning
and
and
falling
wooing,
and shooting,
smiling, spying
gliding
and
and bleeding
whispering,
and riding,
pouring
shooting
and
and holding
looking,
and
guarding
speaking,
and bellowing,
dripping
blazing
and
and
turning and
puffing,
undeserving,
pleasing and
living and
unwinding,
living and
vanishing
flying,
and counting,
spinning and believing
whirring,
and
spitting
worshipping,
and snivelling,
unbelieving and
bringing and
mourning the
squawking,
evening,
scudding and
warming and
burning,
listening and crying,
thundering,
asking and
bullring,
closing and
eating
meaning,
and lying, terrifying and
saying things and
saying
replying,
and
knowing
playing,
and dying and
charmingly
hissing, growing
said,
and burning and
explaining my
crackling, parting
undoing
and
via
baying and
lightning,
following,
rocking,
hunting
toppling
and
and
crunching
burning,
and rolling,
coming and
snaring
making,
and fasting
thinning and
and hanging
dazzling,
and becoming
coming
and
and
living and
beginning,
opening,
winning and
opening and
twinkling,
washing and
smiling
spring,
and cunning,
exceeding
waiting
and
and
Lilting,
exceeding,
scudding,
singing and
coming
running,
growing and
laughing,
feeling,
playing,
descending and
bearing
biting,
and flying,
waiting and
flashing,
twining, aspiring,
shining
announcing,
and
living
spinning,
and blessing, translating
walking,
from the beginning,
whinnying and
vaulting
nothing,
and living, tossing and turning,
turning,
and burning,
mourning
boiling
and
and
nothing,
morning,
dancing and
scarring
wrestling,
from
rising,
morning,
dying
breaking
and
through
singing,
morning,
bruising
waking
and
after
loving,
morning,
raging,
snapping
towering
and
and
spinning,
riding,
bursting
revolving
and
and
paddling,
riding,
and sitting,
loping,
and hopping,
bleating
flashing
and
crying,
raging,
crying, moving
thrashing
and
my
feeling,
rooting,
wings,
crying,
echoing
combing
and
and
crying,
telling,
and knocking, lying and
knelling,
lying,
growing,
bowing
sitting
and
and
bowing,
rising, waiting and
hiding and
feathering,
watching,
wheeling,
living,
dousing
falling,
and
failing
pouncing,
as king,
falling,
laying and
yawning,
bouncing,
mourning,
dodging and
building,
snivelling,
leaping,
leaping,
soaring
soaring,
wings,
hawking,
clawing,
nothing,
burning and
wanting
whistling,
singing and wagging and
singing,
blessing, busting
bleeping
and
and
counting,
riding,
flogging and
waking
leaving,
and flying,
blowing
falling
and
and
singing,
singing,
lying
melting
and
embracing,
turning,
nestling and
hearing,
lying,
breaking
leaving
and
and
riding,
lying,
mourning and
bearing
bearing
and
and
wrapping,
drinking,
awaking,
howling
song,
and sighing,
and wrangling,
leaving and lying, crowing,
fishing,
moaning,
stalking and
burning while
prancing,
sleepwalking,
fabling, hemming
enamoring
and
and
judging,
faithful,
whispering,
falling,
fishing
resembling
and
and
angling,
celebrating, solemnizing
sailing,
and assailing,
conceiving and
circling
longing,
and covering,
darting,
dissolving,
bleeding,
sleeping,
curbing and
treading,
cudgeling,
walking and breathing
taking,
and
flying and
roasting,
estranging,
pitching and
singing,
milking, riding, waving and
unlocking,
rippling,
raining and
coming,
thunderclapping,
scurrying and
quivering
vaulting,
at the wedding,
hitting
carrying
spring
and
wings,
thrashing,
tumbling and
hooking
unending
and
and
looking,
unrevolving,
drinking
nothing
and
swings
dwindling,
and mouthing,
playing
hungering
and
and
pounding,
dying at
nothing
wedding,
plunging, nothing
dying,
piercing,
dipping and
raining
sizzling,
weaving, rushing
dying,
and lightning,
quivering and shimmering,
making and flashing, he sings and
biding,
wedding,
sulking
mounting
and
walking,
skulking,
he sings,
dying,
rejoicing
flailing and
drifting,
pouting,
wanting,
dying, roaring
still he
wings,
sings, walking,
dying,
king,
crying,
dropping,
sings, lightning,
laughing,
dying,
lightning,
blinding,
springs,
dying,
swings
dying
sings
and
while
doing,
thinking, toppling and
seizing,
tossing,
racking and
wings
reefing,
bearing and
Delving,
counting in the
falling,
evening, drifting and
singing,
diving through song,
quaking, living and
holding
rocketing,
breathing,
shackling,
moving,
blessing,
singing,
blessing,
soaking,
bouncing, morning
hunting,
song,
hilling and floating,
setting
nothing,
and
shining,
floating, nothing,
spring,
pulsing,
praising,
entering,
abrasing,
bouncing,
grazing,
walking
and
and
whistling,
whinnying,
spinning,
browsing,
opening,
leaping and
unending,
shooting,
lightning, morning,
keeping a
catching,
flaming
coursing,
ring,
opening,
crouching,
entering,
unseeing
running,
and
laughing,
crying,
dodging the morning,
cursing and
assembling,
hating and
flying
burning,
in the morning,
lording,
leading and singing,
walking
beginning
and
and
hearing,
dying, flying and
willing
lying,
its evening
ripping
hour,
in the morning, burning and whirling, burning and
rehearsing
bearing,
and sweethearting,
sundering and
fading
telling, loving
and
and
melting,
raining,
living
hearing
and
and
loving,
starving and scouting,
missing wings and
sailing
weeping,
and
sighing
sleeping,
at the
flying
evening,
and rolling
sleeping,
and
sighing
rimming
at
and
the
whistling,
evening,
ringing
singing,
and mourning,
whisperings and
burning,
imagining,
blooming and
covering and catching everything, singing and flowering, carpeting, enveloping things, enveloping things, enveloping nodding things, making evening something, spring, flowering, spring, saying, seeking and idling, looking wings, rising wings, speaking, moving, lying and making, waiting, waiting, cleaving, creeping wings, opening, going and unbending, wading and wavering wings, burning, turning thing, covering and uprising wing, a shining, spinning, waiting wing, doing, living, singing, unmoving, moving, overpowering, stirring, stepping, uncaring, stroking, holding, touching, trailing, pacing, entertaining, drawing, springing, binding, moving, growing, holding, glowing, uncaring wings, beating wings, spacing, unmoving, shouldering and uprising, twining, stings, wasting, shining, bruising wings, lifting, building, psalming and calling,
flying, trumpeting and engulfing, wings and spring, burning, wanting and flowering, melting, making and feathering, humbling, breaking and tumbling, burning, going and unmooring, riding, going and unmooring, riding, blinding and anchoring, winding, moving and grinding this crying, flying king, beginning and ungrudging and going, dying, caring and answering, flying, crying and dying, caring, dragging and burning, turning, listening and flowering, singing, wandering song.
I choose love, not performing.